So today we're going to be talking about the Chesapeake Bay watershed. Well, what's a watershed? Watershed is an area of land drained by many streams that flow downhill into a major river, lake, estuary, or ocean. So we live in Virginia, but we're part of a watershed that includes more than Virginia. So here's a map. Here's the state of New York up here. Here's Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, and somewhere in here tucked away right there is Washington, D.C. So the Chesapeake Bay watershed is this entire yellow area here, and it stretches more than 64,000 square miles and includes 6 states and the District of Columbia, which is not a state, it is a district. So you have a paper that looks like this, right? On that paper, it asks you to list the 6 states and the district that make up the Chesapeake Bay watershed. List all of them below and outline each of them on your paper. So take a moment and write down New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia, Delaware, and then the District of Columbia. You're also going to label the Chesapeake Bay, which is this area here. Here's the Chesapeake Bay, and the Atlantic Ocean here. So the Chesapeake Bay is an estuary. That means that's where fresh water meets the salt water of the ocean. So the Chesapeake Bay is an estuary because it's a large, huge body of water here that leads into the Atlantic Ocean. So take a moment and list the states and the District of Columbia, label the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean. Also, in the color of your choice, I want you to outline each of the states that are part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed. As you can see, it goes well beyond Virginia. So make sure you choose some colors and outline each of the states and the District of Columbia. Right over here. So as you can see, there's more than 100,000 streams and rivers called tributaries, and all these river systems combine and eventually flow into the Chesapeake Bay. The Chesapeake Bay watershed is home to more than 16.6 million people. That's a lot of people. So we said that the Chesapeake Bay watershed includes this whole area here, encompassing lots of different states. If we zoom in a bit more, here is a close-up map of Virginia, so you can see the outline of the state of Virginia. And then here are 5 rivers, the 5 major rivers in the state of Virginia and beyond that flow into the Chesapeake Bay. So on your paper, label the Susquehanna, Potomac River, Rappahannock River, York, and the James River. The way to remember this is, students, please remove your jackets. Students, please remove your jackets. So take a moment, label the rivers, and neatly outline, best you can, the rivers with a colored pencil or a marker in blue. So here's the Susquehanna, there's the Potomac, here's the Rappahannock, here's the York River, and the James River. The major rivers in Virginia's watershed. So if you were to take a look at a different map of Virginia, okay, this is, if you're looking at a map of Virginia's river systems, so here are all the rivers, in which direction would you say most of Virginia's waters flow? So it looks as though most of them flow southeast. Not all the water, but most of it flows southeast. So that means that Virginia actually has 3 major watersheds. So the 3 major watersheds are the Chesapeake Bay, North Carolina Sound, and the Gulf of Mexico. On your sheet, you have the names of Virginia's 3 major watersheds. Choose a color and make sure you just outline those 3 watersheds the best you can on your map. So here's what your map looks like. So we're just going to outline, to the best of your abilities, the major watersheds. So here is the Chesapeake Bay watershed all of this area here. Here is North Carolina Sound. Let me change the color. That should be green. It is green. And then you've got the Gulf of Mexico here. All of that is all the Gulf of Mexico watershed. Take a moment and lightly shade in or trace the three major watersheds in Virginia. So we had the big picture. We had a map of the United States showing all of the states that are part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed. Then we zoomed in a little bit and we've got the state of Virginia, the specific major three watersheds of Virginia. We're focusing on Chesapeake Bay. Now let's zoom in even more and take a look at Loudoun County. This is Loudoun County. So if you take a look back at your Virginia map, your map of Virginia, look here. This L-shaped county is Loudoun County. Loudoun starts with an L, and our county looks like an L. That's really important when they show the maps in the wintertime for snow days. Look for the county that looks like this, see if it's highlighted, and then you can say, oh, Loudoun County has a snow day. And then we get that call from Wade Byard, and everyone's really happy. So anyway, here is Loudoun County, and we are part of the Goose Creek watershed. That's the largest watershed in Loudoun County here. So that means the water that drops here will end up in Goose Creek. And then that water from Goose Creek will end up in the Potomac River. And that water in the Potomac River will end up in the Chesapeake Bay and out into the Atlantic Ocean. Well, why do we care about this? Well, we get our drinking water from the Potomac River. So if you are dumping stuff into a drain like paint and at your house and you live in Loudoun County, well, that water could end up in Goose Creek and so on and so forth. Not good. So on your sheet, label Goose Creek, color the Goose Creek watershed on your map, or simply highlight or outline Goose Creek if you're not a very good color inner. So here is Goose Creek. Label it. And what do we have here? Well, that is Harper Park. That's where Harper Park Middle School is located. So now that you're done with your notes, go to Google Classroom, look for this link here that will tell you about why you should care about water.